throat was very small. The little girl stated that Jonah was swallowed by a whale. Irritated, the teacher reiterated that a whale could not swallow a human. It was physically impossible. The little girl said, "When I get to heaven, I will ask Jonah." The teacher asked, "Well, what if Jonah went to hell?" The little girl said, "Then you can ask him." A kindergarten teacher was observing her classroom of children while they were drawing. She would occasionally walk around to see each child's work. As she went to one little girl who was working diligently, she asked what the drawing was. The little girl replied, "I'm drawing God." The teacher paused and said, "But no one knows what God looks like." Without missing a beat or looking up from her drawing, the little girl said, "They will in a minute." The Sunday school teacher was discussing the 10 Commandments with her 5- and 6-year-olds. After explaining the commandment to honor thy father and thy mother, she asked, "Is there a commandment that teaches us how to treat our brothers and sisters?" From the back, one little boy, who was the oldest in his family, answered, "Thou shalt not kill." One day, a little girl was sitting and watching her mother do the dishes at the kitchen sink. She suddenly noticed that her mother had several strands of white hair sticking out in contrast on her brunette head. She looked at her mother and asked, "Why are some of your hairs white, Mom?" Her mother replied, "Well, every time you do something wrong and make me cry or unhappy, one of my hairs turns white." The little girl thought about that for a while, and then she said, "Mommy, how come all grandma's hairs are white?" All the children had been photographed, and the teacher was trying to persuade them each to buy a copy of the group picture. Just think how nice it will look to look at this when you're all grown up and say, "There's Jennifer, she's a lawyer, and there's Michael, he's a doctor." A small voice at the back of the room said, "And there's the teacher, she's dead." The teacher was giving a lesson on the circulation of the blood. Trying to make the matter clearer, she said, "Now, class, if I stood on my head, the blood, as you know, would run into it, and I would turn red in the face." "Yes," the class said. "Then why is it that while I'm standing upright in an ordinary position, the blood does not run into my feet?" The little fellow shouted, "Because your feet ain't empty." The head is empty. The little children were lined up in the cafeteria of a Catholic elementary school for lunch. At the head of the table was a large pile of apples. The nun made a note and posted on the apple tray, "Take only one, God is watching." Moving further along the lunch line, at the other end of the table was a large pile of chocolate chip cookies. A child had written a note, "Take all you want, God is watching the apples."